Hi everybody! This video we're going to go through the different tools that you can use in your Photoshop program to edit your pictures. Please remember your tools on the left hand side do relate to your option bar. So if you click a tool in the toolbox, your option bar does change to relate to that tool. Over on the right hand side we have the navigator, which we can zoom in and out of a picture. We have our history, so you can see the different steps that I've started to make on this picture, and down at the bottom is the layers box. Most of the time we have one or two layers in photography, but in computer art you have quite a bit more. We'll start at the top. If you float your mouse over the tool, it will identify what the tool is called. This is the Move tool. So if you click on that Move tool, you can move if you add text, or you can move some things around. The fourth tool down is the Quick Selection tool. If you right-click, the Quick Selection tool allows you to select an area quickly. It is different than the magic wand, and so please make sure to write down the two names of the tools there on your sheet. The fifth tool down is the Cropping tool. You do use the cropping tool to crop your photographs, and when you use the cropping tool you'll see the rule of thirds grid, which should help you figure out your composition. The eyedropper, sometimes we use that to select color and put it in different areas. So this is the eyedropper. You can see the patch tool, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over here is the patch tool. We do use the healing brush, that is the Band-Aid without a circle around it, the healing brush tool. Here's the patch tool and the red eye. We will use all three of those for editing portraits. We do use the clone stamp. Notice there is a difference between a pattern stamp and a clone stamp. We use the clone stamp in editing portraits. Sometimes in the black and white you do need to use the eraser. Here's the eraser tool. You do not need the background eraser tool or the magic eraser, just the plain old eraser. The paint bucket, sometimes we use the paint bucket. It shares a spot with the gradient tool, and so those you can find kind of right there. They're kind of right in the middle of your tool bucket. Sometimes we use the blur tool. There it is, the blur. It's kind of like a little teardrop. I call this the little black spot with a lollipop. That's the dodge tool. We will use the dodge tool, the burn tool, and the sponge for editing portraits. And you might learn some of that in our first unit as well. Text box, we do use text. We add text to our social justice piece, so you can have horizontal type text or vertical type text. And let's see, anything else you need to know? I don't think so. That takes through most of your tools. So if you didn't write down all the names in your worksheet, you'll just go into Photoshop, and if you float your mouse over the tool, you'll be able to see what their names are, and you can always right-click to see the names as well. When you're done editing a photo, always make sure to go up to File, press Save As. You're going to save your pictures in your J Drive folder, but make a habit of changing the format to a JPEG. So I'm going to click here and save it as a JPEG. That's a JPEG if I'm done editing it. If I'm not done editing it, then I'll save it as Photoshop so I can open it back up in Photoshop. But if I'm done editing, I would save it as a JPEG. That's going to be a JPEG, and I always title it whatever title it is. So this is my selfie, and maybe it's edited. And then press save. When you get an option like this, you can always just press OK. And that's a basic introduction of Photoshop, how to set up your workspace, and what tools you're going to be using. Fill out your notes, hand them in, take the Photoshop quiz, and you're ready to edit your photos when you bring them in. Thank you.